Kids. In today's session, you are going to learn about the public revenue. Public revenue. The government has to perform several functions for the welfare of the people. They involve substantial amount of public expenditure which can be financed only through the public revenue. To face the public expenditure, that means what are the welfare of the people, the government they are doing. For that purpose, they need the money. The money that finance they are getting through the public revenue. The amount of public revenue to be raised depends on the necessity of public expenditure and the people's ability to pay. How much the people can able to pay. According to that alone, the public revenue it will increase. According to that alone, the public also, that means the government also do the expenditure. Next, they given about the meaning. What is the meaning of it? According to Dalton, the term public income has two senses, wide and narrow. In its wider sense, it includes all the incomes or receipts which a public authority may secure during any period of time. That means they can able to secure during any period of time. Incomes as well as receipts. That means in this one the loans which borrowed from the inner country, otherwise from the outer country by the government also it includes in the wider sense. But in the narrow sense, it includes only those sources of income of the public authority which are ordinarily known as revenue resources. Okay, in narrow sense, only the source of income of the public authority. What is the public authority income? We may say about the service sector, hospital and educational. From this what they are receiving, that amount alone we are saying as a revenue resources. Actually what they are saying in the wider sense, public receipts they are saying, and the narrow sense they are calling that one as a public revenue. Okay, public receipts, that means what I said, everything it includes tax as well as what we are getting from the public what is it one government authorities we may say. Okay, like the hospitals, schools I said, transport services I said, industries which run by the government. From everything what with the income we are getting, that also it will come there, as well as the loan from the outside as well as from the inside of the country also it include in the wider sense. In the narrow sense, what we are receiving, that means as a tax as well as from the, that means in this one the loan it won't included, that is called as a public revenue. Okay, in narrow sense it include only those sources of income of the government which are described as revenue resources. In broad sense, it includes loan raised by the government also. What I said, they given here, isn't it? Broad sense meant the loan also it include. But in the narrow sense, only the income which is received by the government from the public. From the public, what they are receiving? Only through the industries I said, through the service sectors I said, and also through the taxes. That all comes under the revenue resources. Actually, this classification of public revenue into two types. Tax revenue and the non-tax revenue. Okay, first tax revenue. Tax is a compulsory payment by the citizen to the government to meet the public expenditure. To meet the public expenditure, it is the compulsory payment by the citizen. Each and every citizen definitely they should pay the taxpayer cannot refuse to pay taxes to the government. Anyone can't able to refuse to pay the taxes to the government. Definition, what the definition here given, that alone we are going to see. A tax is a compulsory payment made by a person or a firm to a government without reference to any benefit the payer may derive from the government. That means when if I am paying the tax, okay, that I should not expect anything from the government. That definitely if I am paying to the government, definitely the government should, definitely they should do something for me. Not like that. Without any, what is that one, without any expectation. Without any expectation, the payer should pay the tax. Okay. Next, by Dalton, what is said? A tax is a compulsory contribution imposed by public authority irrespective of the exact amount of service rendered to the taxpayer in return and not imposed as a penalty for any legal offense. That means what you are saying, that what are the services I am utilizing from the government, for that only I am paying the tax. Okay, like that only Dalton said. That means it is compulsory. I should pay it. Compulsory, I should pay it as a tax. How? For what purpose I am paying that? For the service which done by the government. Road tax we are paying. That means the road is a service only, which one laid by the government, isn't it? House, they given us the land, so only we built the house tax. Income we are receiving from the government, not only from the government, private sector also we are earning. That means the government, they had given the right to earn the money in our country, isn't it? So for that purpose we are paying the money. Okay, that means what here actually what we are the service we are getting from the government, for that alone we are paying as a tax. Okay, but it is not the penalty, it is not the penalty by the government. Next, characteristics of tax. What are the characteristics of tax? A tax is a compulsory payment made to the government. People on whom a tax is imposed must pay the tax. Those not to everyone they will impose the tax. Only those who are earning more, for them alone they only should pay. That means they given some limitations per year. If you are receiving above the 5 lakhs means, that means not nowadays actually they given before that 2 lakhs, now they given up to 5 lakhs the limitations. That means if they are given that means 5 up to 5 lakh, that means above the 5 lakhs if you are earning means we should pay the income tax. And if you are having the own house means you should pay the house tax. For the water, what you are using for the water tax. Electricity, we are getting that on electricity. Road we are utilizing, so road tax. Vehicle, for vehicle tax, everything. Okay, like that what we are doing there, we are paying that tax. But those who are utilizing only, they are going to pay there, not the everyone. Refusal to the pay the tax is punishable offense. If anyone refusing to pay the tax is a punishable offense. There is no quid pro quo between a taxpayer and a public authorities. This means that the taxpayer cannot claim any specific benefit the payment of a tax. I am paying the tax, so I can't able to expect this one only, already I told in this definition itself. No one can't able to expect anything from the government, that I paid to the government, so definitely that I paid the tax to the government, definitely they should do for me. Not for the individual person they will do. They will do only for the society. They will do only for the society welfare. Okay. Every tax involves some sacrifice on part of the taxpayer. Yes, I am paying the tax, isn't it? That means sacrifice only. It is sacrifice by me. Okay, definitely for what purpose we are doing? Welfare of everyone. Not only for myself, for welfare of everyone. A tax is not levied as a fine or penalty for breaking law. Actually, tax, what we are paying, it is not the penalty. Okay, for breaking a law, that means when you are moving in the vehicle, in the two-wheeler, if you are not wearing the helmet, they are collecting the penalty from you. Okay, that is not the tax, that is the penalty, because you are breaking the laws. But tax, what you are utilizing, for what purpose, that means in which country you are belonging to, for that country you should paying, you are paying, not should, you are paying the money. That means you are refunding the money, otherwise we may say as a rent. We are paying the rent, as rent only we are paying, like that also we may say tax. Okay, but it is not, but they are not collecting it as a penalty. When they will collect as a penalty, they will give, that means they will impose penalty on the tax when we are paying it late. Okay, when we are paying it late, we are paying the tax with penalty. That is the another thing, because we are breaking the law there. But paying the tax is the what is that one? That is our duty. If you are not paying the tax properly, means that one is a punishable, isn't it? So when you are delaying for it, you should pay it with the penalty. Next, some of the tax revenue sources are. What are the tax revenue sources? Income tax, corporate tax, sales tax, surcharge, and cess. Okay, from this only the government, they are getting the income. From the income they are getting, corporate they are getting, sales they are getting, surcharge, like that, other the fees, like that also they are getting the money. Non-tax revenue, the revenue obtained by the government from sources other than tax is called non-tax revenue. Fees and all comes under the non-tax revenue. Fees are another important source of revenue for the government. A fee is charged by public authorities for rendering a service to the citizen. There is no compulsion involved in case of fees. Tax we should pay, isn't it? But fees they won't compel you to pay it. So definitely you should pay. If you are utilizing, you should pay. If you are not utilizing, you should not pay. If you are moving on the vehicle, that means in the public transport, definitely you will pay the fees for that one. That means to buy that you are buying the ticket, isn't it? You should pay the fees for them. You are utilizing the public vehicle. If you are not moving in the public vehicle, if you are using your own vehicle, why you are going to pay the fees there? No, not at all, isn't it? Okay. Next, about the fine. A fine is a penalty imposed on an individual for violation of law. When you are violating the law, you are paying the penalty. That only already I told, isn't it? If you are not paying the tax on time, what they will do? They will make some penalty. For example, violation of traffic rules, payment of income tax after the stipulated time, etc. they given, isn't it? Next, earnings from public enterprises. The government also gets revenue by way of surplus from public enterprises. Some of the public sector enterprises do make a good amount of profits. The profits or dividends which the government gets can be utilized for public expenditure. That means the public enterprises, so many public enterprises are there. For example, I may say the industry, sugar industry, transport system, everything, isn't it? Whatever they are getting that income from that one, it won't come as a tax. It is the what is a non-tax alone, okay, non-tax resources alone. Next, special assessment of betterment levy. It is a kind of special charge levied on certain members of the community who are beneficiaries of certain government activities or public projects. For example, what they given from that itself you may know. Due to a public park or due to the construction of a road, people in that locality may experience an appreciation in the value of their property or land. If any place it's having the road, otherwise the public park, otherwise the public school, like that if it's having means definitely the land value it will increase. The land value it will increase. Okay. Gift, grants and aids. A grant from the government to another is an important source of revenue in the modern days. The government at the center provides grants to state governments. Okay, state government they are getting the grants. Already this one I told. Okay. In this one, what they are saying that whenever that means whenever they are the state government they are in needy, that time they are providing central government they are providing the grants to the state government. When the local government they are in the needy, state government they are providing the grants to the local government. Grants from foreign countries are known as foreign aid. Developing countries receive military aid, food aid, technological aid, etc. from other countries. Our country also receiving so many foreign aids. Okay, mainly in the technological line we are receiving the aids there. Next, assets. It refers to the claim of the state to the property of persons who die without legal heirs or documented will. That means government they are receiving. If any person they are not having any legal heirs, means that person's property it will as it is move to the government. For example, our former chief minister Miss Jayalalitha, she died without the heir, isn't it, legal heir? So her property it is undertaken by the government. Now only some of her brother's son, that means the cousins only, they made the case and they achieved only the property alone, not the home. Actually that home it belonged to the government only, they told. So for that purpose what the government they did, they paid some amount for that home also to that people, to her cousins. Okay, but before the cousins making the, that means before they are moving to the judgment, that means moving to the court, before that what the government they declared there, that what are the properties it belong to Miss Jayalalitha, it will move on straight to the government alone. But after that alone, these people, that means the cousins, they moved to the court, and also now they received it. Okay, thank you children.